reflux, cancer cannot survive. It is wrong environment. It just doesn't work. So that's what we all want to be trying to accomplish here. So this guy, Dr. Romy Shinya, he is one of the top 10 surgeons in the world. If you call a surgeon a doctor, they'll get offended. Surgeons are a whole other level. So this guy is, if you've heard of the colonoscopy, he's the one that invented that. Way back 30-something years ago, he invented that. And he's had around 300,000 procedures that he's done personally or his team has done personally. And so just to tell you a little bit about how the healthcare system is different in Japan is here, doctors get paid. They make all their money from their sick patients, right? They come in, they prescribe a medication for them, and that's when they get paid. In Japan, and I think it's a great concept, is they get paid every month by every patient they have that they're healthy. They just send them a check every month like we're healthy. And as soon as they're sick, as soon as they get in the hospital, they do not pay the doctor again until they're well. And who thinks that's a great idea? So then doctors have this crazy thing where they're compelled to get their patients healthy. So you know, even if it's so they can get paid again, who cares if that's what's making you healthy? So this guy, Dr. Romy Shinya, has done something like 300,000 cancer surgeries, removal of cancer and prevention of cancer. And he will not allow anyone to come into his clinic unless they promise, you know, make a commitment to drink nothing but this Kangen water. And so if anyone knows anyone with cancer in their family or that they know, they'll find this very amazing, is that out of the 300,000 people, cancer patients he's treated, he has 0 recurrence rate. Not one person has had a recurrence of cancer. Which, if you know anyone with cancer, that doesn't happen. Everyone gets cancer back. And so in America, we do chemo, you know, you poison your body and remove the tumor, and it's kind of like pulling a weed out of the garden. Does that get rid of the weeds in your garden just by pulling it out? Anyone know?
No.
Thanks, Chris. So if you're not changing your environment, if you're keeping that very low acidic pH in your body, which it's proven that every single cancer patient has a pH of 5, 6s, low 7s, all acidic, and that's what cancer thrives in. If you don't change your pH in your body, then that cancer is just going to keep coming back. That those diseases are just going to keep coming back. Whether you take a medication for it, you know, that'll get rid of that symptom and create another one, and it's a never-ending process because you're not treating the cause, you're not treating the root of it, which is your pH. So there's all these books on it that nobody's heard of. Nobody's heard of this. I've never heard of this. I was amazed to find out that this has been around for 40 years. And, you know, but reverse aging, alkalize or die, nobody reads these books. Nobody knows what alkalize mean. They just know what die means. So that's not intriguing to anybody to read. So reverse aging says removing acidic waste is more effective than diet and exercise, which sounds far out. You know, if somebody came up to you with a straight face and said, change your water, quit drinking soda, and you'll lose 20 pounds. You would think they're crazy. You would think they're insane. And your body, many cries for water says you're not sick, you're thirsty. Don't treat thirst with medications. Again, talking about changing your pH. Alkalize or die, all disease comes from the same thing. Too much acid, acidosis. And in the pH Miracle, I just finished this book, great book. Without enough water, your body goes acidic, goes into fat storing. So, you know, we know people that are overweight, obviously, and so something that your body does is whenever you have too much acid, your body will do whatever it takes to protect yourself from that acid. So what it does is it covers it in fat. It covers it in fat so the acid cannot get to your blood, and because if you get your blood out of homeostasis, which what homeostasis is if we've heard of the Three Bears with Alice in the Woods. Have you all heard of this story? So there was porridge that was too hot, porridge that was too cold, and porridge that was just right. So just right, as far as your blood goes, is homeostasis. And so that's between 7.365 and 7.465 pH. And so your body is going to do anything it can to stay in that homeostasis, because you're going to have major, major problems if you get out of that certain pH. So in order to do that, in order to protect itself, it is going to cloak your acid with fat. It is either going to, and then it's going to go to your stomach, it's going to go to your thighs, it's going to go to your butt. And then people start drinking this water, start flushing acid out of their body, and then they, without changing their diet, without changing their exercise, they've lost 20 pounds, and they think it's a miracle. It's not. That's what happened. They're just getting rid of acid. And you know people that will, my grandfather or whatever, he eats terrible food all the time, but he's not fat. He's skinny. Well, there's numerous places that acid goes. You've heard of plaque within your arteries. That's acid. That's just plugging up your arteries, and now you're not huge, but all your acid is in your blood cells. In your vessels, in your arteries, and then you go up a flight of stairs this tall, and your blood's pumping, and you're out of breath, and because your veins are so tiny because of all that acid. And then finally, the acid also turns into crystals, and your body has to keep it out of your blood, so it turns it into crystals, and then they clump in your joints, your fingers, your knees, and then that's arthritis. So again, just 4 days ago, I was giving this couple some water, and then she texted me. She's like, "Hey, I'm sure this is a coincidence, but my husband, who has had really bad knee problems, really bad arthritis for the past 10 years, he feels fine. Like his knees and joints are fine. So I'm sure it's a coincidence, but we're gonna stop drinking the water for a few days just to make sure." So sure enough, his knee hurts again. So
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Great.
Speaking of that, I did a presentation, and what I love about this is it works on grumpy people, it works on anybody. It works on dogs, like, these old dogs that hobble around. Placebos don't work on dogs. They don't know what this means. They just drink it and they feel better, or they don't. So people give it to their old dogs, their young dogs that have problems or whatever, and the dogs will start jumping around and running like they're young again. Anyway, I got sidetracked. So I did a presentation for a few ladies, and they were all, let's get this over with. This kid is going to tell me, give us a little pitch or whatever, and let's get him out of here, So they're all sitting there. And then so one lady's like, I got a really bad headache. Let me try some of this water. And so she's drinking it. And so I'm doing my presentation. 5 minutes in, she's like, "Hey, I'm sure it's a coincidence, but my headache's gone." I'm like, "Huh, yeah, I know." And then so this other lady was like, "Let me try that. I've had a headache for like 2 days. I'm sure it won't work, but I'll just give it a try." And then sure enough, same thing. 10 minutes later, she's like, there's like 2 people in the room. She raises her hand. She's like, "Hey, my headache's gone." I was like, "Yeah, I know." So, all right. The following. So that's pretty much the properties of the water. And now I'm just going to show you a little demonstration to exemplify the different properties of the water. So first, what I'm going to do is show you the